Welcome to tutorial number 7. In this tutorial we're going to cover the notepad, we're going to cover reminders, and we're going to cover checklists. So let's get started here. The notepad you can either launch directly from the tools window in Notepad, or you can launch it from projects. Remember, in the last section we created this project here, so if I wanted to create a note specific to a project, I can select this here from the project window. So let's do that, and see again here, oops, this was actually the wrong one. This is the notepad here. So you see the notepad window here, and it shows here this is a note for demo project 1. So that's really the only difference. If I launch the notepad directly from the tools menu, it will just say notes here in the title, right? And this is relatively straightforward, pretty much a small note-taking application. The idea here is you can write, of course, things in your daily journal, right? Your thoughts, your ideas, your feelings, emotions, and all that stuff that you write into your journal, right? But there are certainly things when you want to keep more extensive notes that you want to link to, you know, projects that you want to tag as content and things like that. Then you can do this here, right? So let's just say here a note. And then you see here you have pretty much the same styling elements like you have with the journal entries, right? So you can insert the date, you can insert the time here if you like to, right? So we can say here write something, and then what you can do is, you know, assign a category for this, like you can do with everything else in the software, and then, you know, as you save this, it will show up here in the list of notes, right? So one thing you can do, as you can do with days and with people, you can tag this. So let's just add a tag here, you know, just say tag this as note, and you see here's the list of all the tags that are available, and these are the tags assigned specifically to this note here. And what this is really good for, once you have a lot of notes, once you have a lot of content, right, the tags can really help you classify, categorize content, and find content later, right? You can of course also tag from the edit window. So if you highlight something here, you click on a little tag here, the word something will be added as a tag. That works the same like we had already seen with daily journal entries, and then you have the copy and paste here functions as well. Now one thing you can do is you can link URLs to a note. If I say clip here, I don't have anything to clip here because I don't have anything to really paste in here. The way you really work this is you go in the web browser, you know, and you copy the URL you're currently looking at, and once something is in the clipboard, you say clip here, it will just pretty much paste the URL in here. And then the last thing you can do with notes is if you click on the little picture icon here, it goes into the picture window, and we don't have any pictures in here yet. Once you have pictures either on this list here, or you can add a picture from a file, you can also add a bunch of images to notes. The same, you can add images to people, right? So it's just a little additional function here. So that pretty much covers the notepad. It's relatively straightforward, simple. I used it a lot just to keep, you know, more extensive thoughts and notes in the specific area, and then, like I said, tag the content there as well. Okay, let's go to another little tool here, which is reminders. So this is the reminder window, and what that pretty much does, it you know, you can add reminders of things that, you know, either happen on a specific date or happen on a recurring basis. So for example, one thing I can say here, take the trash out, and dimension, that's environment, and you can say priority, it's 1 till 10, 1 being the highest, right? You can say, so I want to start these reminders today. Let's say I want to have the reminders till the end of the year. And so this happens frequently, and my trash is picked up on Wednesday morning, so I probably want to be reminded to take the trash out every Tuesday. And now I can save this, and now you see as a reminder, take the trash out. That will happen every Tuesday. Now, where can I see those reminders? The reminders show up in the dashboard, and they show up in this reminders and alert section, right? So since it is not Tuesday today, the reminder doesn't show up here, right? So that would show up the next Tuesday. That will actually occur. Going back here, so let's do a reminder that happens every day. Just call it every day. Just, you know, say work out, right? That's my reminder for every day. So starting today, also till the end of the year, and let's say this reminder should happen every day. Save this, and you see now in the dashboard, since this happens every day, it shows up here. So every day that passes, I will see in my dashboard here reminders of the things that I do for this day, right? And you see here, this is pretty much the basic premise, and then you see there's a whole bunch of other things you can assign here, right? You know, you can say every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, and so forth, right? Every business day. And again, if you have feedback on other intervals you would like to see here, you know, send those to us, and we'll build in more, you know, preset intervals here in the software as well. And the last thing I want to show you today is checklists. And checklists you can again access directly from the tools menu, like I'm doing here, or from within projects. And checklists are quite useful, right? So you can have you know, shopping lists, you can have checklists for when you travel, and all kinds of things. And the one thing that's important here is to understand is you can only create a checklist from a template, and the reason for that is that oftentimes when you create a checklist, it's just a thing that happens and recurs, right? When you travel, it's probably always the same checklist, right? When you go shopping, there's probably always similar items on there, right? So we don't have any templates here now, so before we can actually create a checklist, we have to create a template. So let's create a template here, and let's say a new template, let's say call a travel checklist, right? So here are all my templates, and now I can see what do you want to add to this template, and you see this is all empty right now, right? So I can set a category here for travel, and you see there's a bunch of things here already on there. For work, there's a couple things on here for shopping. So you can either check something here from the list that is pre-canned in here. So you can say, I have to take my passport, right? But you can also say, you know, bottled water, right? Put that on here. You know, phone headset. I want to bring my plane ticket, you know, whatever that may be. And you know, there's a couple things you want to pack perhaps, right? So, but this is pretty much now assigned to this travel template. Now you can see I have a template here, right? So as I do this, and I can say, okay, my next trip I'm going to take, you know, say visit family for Christmas. Can set an expiration date, so let's say just expire at the end of the year. And the only good thing this will do is once the date has expired, it will not show up in this list anymore, right? So if I save this now, I have a checklist here called Visit Family for Christmas, and you see now as I click this, it will show me all the items that are in my template, right? So again, you can only build checklists from templates because I mean it's likely next time I travel, let's say my summer vacation, I'm using the same checklist, right? So template is pretty much just a way to encapsulate the check items on your list, and then as you're preparing for your trip, you can pretty much go through this and say and check these off here as you go to make sure you are ready for your trip, right? So again, this is checklists. And it again shows me 2 items left to complete. And again, for building good habits, a lot of people swear by checklists, right? So it's generally a good idea to use checklist, you know, if you like this kind of things, to organize things wherever you can, right? And again, if you do this from within a project, right? Again, here's a checklist item, right? You see the checklist we just has created does not show up simply because the checklist we created is not part, of course, of this demo project. If I go back to the tools menu and get the checklist window up from here, you see there's our checklist for Christmas with 2 items to complete. Right. So this concludes the tutorial number 7, and again what we covered today was the generic node editor, the Notepad, which is something I use a lot. We have covered reminders, which again show up here on in the dashboard, and we have covered a checklist, which is yet another good way to organize the things you have to do.